Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, October 6th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see down there will still be moving. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, RIVN. Disastrous day here as the company, I believe, announced it needed to raise more money, so they're dumping more shares. And yeah, brutal day. But I will say RIVN, not a super popular stock, but it's definitely not unheard of. And I say that because when relatively popular stocks get absolutely beat down, a lot of people watch them and they just look for any reason at all to buy. And from a trading standpoint, that can produce some very worthwhile bounces. So from that angle of things, the level here that I'm very curious about is that trend line right there. Because as you can see there, I mean, it's not totally straight down, but try to adjust that down. There we go. But it's very close to being essentially a straight down trend line. So does that mean there's a guarantee? It does not. But is it plausible? Is it valid to think that the price can at least get a break up through that trend line, that from a trading standpoint, that break in and of itself could create a nice bounce that, who knows, maybe it turns into a full-blown reversal? I don't know about that, but again, at the same time, it's not completely impossible. But yes, as far as is it at least plausible to think that a breakout there of that trend line could create a worthwhile tradable bounce? Absolutely. In terms of supports, at this point, it's essentially a falling knife. So, I mean, you can try to time it up somewhere, but for me, I think the more interesting dynamic is watching that trend line and seeing if the price can get a break of it. And if it does that create more upside buying pressure? So certainly an interesting set of circumstances. Next one, WNW, and this is a very interesting situation because you have a very well breakout point here, right here at the top part of that consolidation at 15 cents. But what makes this most interesting is the fact that started off very strong with the gap up. Price came all the way up here, and then the price dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped. And at this point, it starts to become a very valid question of, is this going to be one of these situations? And if you've traded for long enough, then you've seen situations like this where you get these gap ups and then the price comes down and it just keeps dropping, and it's a total gap and trap. But that was not the case here. It at least did start to level out here. And it's now started to head back up here. Now, let me be very clear, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Just because there is a big pullback, just because it started to go sideways, does not mean that for sure guaranteed that this consolidation is over and that for sure guaranteed this thing is going to turn itself around. But does it become a little bit more plausible at this point? In my opinion, absolutely. So with the bottom of that consolidation right there at the 0.133, that's going to be a key level of support there. But that's really what it's all about. Do you find these sorts of situations interesting where you get the move up, you get it down, and then it starts to go sideways, and then can ask that question, is this the consolidation before it goes back upwards? And that's what a watch list is all about, finding unique, finding interesting situations, and not rushing out and randomly buying stuff, but watching it. So if you find these sorts of circumstances interesting, and you like penny stocks, then definitely get on your watch list. Next one here, AMD, and not a whole lot to talk about other than assuming you watched the previous video, so I'll go over it very quickly. But if you did watch the past video, hopefully remember me talking about that red line up there, 104.40. Talked about it as resistance, and yes, it bumped its head on there right there during the last 30 minutes on Wednesday, and then today the rejection went into full force. But to give credit's due, a nice recovery has been underway, which now leads to the question of, on Friday, can this nice upwards move continue? Can it get back up to that point? And then even more so, can it get the break? Because if it can get a break, then that would definitely be a big technical breakout, and once again introducing those ideas of a lot of people watching it and potentially self-fulfilling prophecies because a bunch of people are buying, well, just because it's a breakout, that could definitely go into full effect. So very nice recovery from the big rejection from this morning. Can it get up to that 104.40 mark and break through? Let's see what happens on Friday. Next one here, GROM, and very interesting scenario here. Once again, same general idea. Big gap up, price ran all the way there, and then just got destroyed to the downside. But when do you know it? Found some support right at this grouping of moving averages, the pink line being 200 paired moving average, purple line being the 50 paired moving average, and has now gotten a bit of a bounce in the upwards direction. So yeah, this now becomes a very interesting question of, in fact, let me just get this. Is this movement right here, is this the start of something even bigger? Which is a very exciting question to ask, because when you think about it, in order to ask that question, something worthwhile needs to happen in the first place. A lot of situations, nothing worthwhile ever happens, so you never get to ask the question, oh, wow, is this the start of something bigger? But in this situation, you did get a nice little dynamic. You got the pullback all the way to those moving averages. You got the bounce that's just starting. So yes, Is this the start of something even bigger? As always, no guarantees. So maybe it's not. Maybe this thing just rolls right back over. Completely possible, but that is a two-sided coin because, well, I mean, maybe it is. Maybe this thing really starts to grind moving forward. So if you like these big pullbacks, you like being able to ask that question, is this the start of something bigger? Certainly keep an eye on it. Next one here, AMC. And overall, I mean, the chart's hanging in there, but depending on your vantage point, meaning if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought up around there and your plan was to buy and sell within 10 minutes, well, then yes, from that angle, the chart's really bad. But overall, it's basically right back to where it started. Not quite, slightly lower because yesterday it closed right there. And then when I correspond that over here, you can see slightly below. But point being is, yes, today individually, a very disappointing day because you got the breakout and then it went right back to essentially where it started. But from a bigger picture point of view, everything's still fine. It's still above these moving averages, both the 50 period and the 200 period, still up above that lower part of the channel down there at $7.80. So yes, today individually, looking at it isolated, can look and feel really, really rough. And yeah, that is true. But when you take a step back and look at multiple days, overall, the price still has the opportunity to put in the higher lows. It put in a higher high today. So from that angle, things are hanging in there. But yes, no doubt about it today. Disappointing, but that 835 mark has gone right back to acting as resistance. Once again, you can see this afternoon, that's right where the price has struggled. So 835 remains that key area of resistance. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering here this evening. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. But as I mentioned, it will be tonight and it is live. So a couple situations, if you already have something on your schedule this evening, or maybe you're watching this Friday morning and you just completely missed it, I completely understand. Go ahead, send me an email, clay@claytrader.com, and I can send you a link to the replay. All I ask is because it is live, the event first does need to happen, then I got to get it uploaded, and then I'd be happy to send you a link to that replay. So now if you can make it live, definitely get signed up, but if not, go ahead and send me an email. Next one, CEI. Very nice move here, and it's getting close, but not quite at that area we talked about previously where, I mean, the price is sitting right here at this breakout point at essentially the 36-cent mark right there. So 36 cents, the price is knocking on the door, and this is a nice potential pattern here that's getting ready to be broken out of. So let me change that to green to represent the support and then maybe make it easier to see. Let's keep it one color. So we have resistance, we have support, we have the big upwards move today. For you golfers out there, I'll make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here. This will be known as a bull pennant pattern. So like I said, as of right now, the price is, let's see, in the market closed in about 5 minutes. So price knocking on the door right there. So it's looking like it's setting up for a potential bull pennant breakout to the upside. So again, if you like bull pennants, you like penny stock patterns and penny stock stocks in general, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and nothing new here to report, assuming you watched the previous video, but if you didn't, I'll bring you up to speed real quick. But past video, I talked about that resistance right there, red line at the 262.50 mark. And again, the power of charts. I mean, I'll turn that into a quick plug. Get signed up for the free class or drop me an email. Look at this. And I promise I've not moved that red line. If you don't believe me, I'm not offended. Just go back in the video archive, watch the video from yesterday, and you'll see I put that red line in place. And look at this. You can't make this stuff up. That's right where it got rejected from right there. And fake little break of it right there before the momentum disappeared and back down it went. So point here being, everybody and their brother's uncle is going to be watching 262.50 headed into Friday, which once again brings about those talking points of self-fulfilling prophecies. And when a lot of people are watching the same levels, and especially on a very popular stock like Tesla, guarantees nothing, but it does make it more plausible that a break of that level could create upside buying pressure. In terms of levels of support, so far so good. That level I talked about previously, the pink line, 200 period moving average, acted beautifully today as a support. So if there are any sort of pullbacks, continue to watch that 200 period moving average. Next one here, AAPL Apple, and big day today, not necessarily because it was green, but I'm trying to, yeah. So this pink line here, which you now know is that 200 period moving average. Looking here, you can see it has been a long time since the price has actually been up above it. So price now above that pink line. So right now I'm trying to search. When was the last time the price was actually up above it? All right, way back here in early September. So more of the story there, it's been overall month since the price has been able to get up above that level. And you can see earlier today, it was a problem. It was acting as resistance there, acted as resistance right there. But then when the price finally did get the breakout, which you can see right there. Good solid upwards move. So all that to say, and this is just based on a foundational rule in charting, that when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see it act as support. So moving forward, the best thing for Apple would be to now prove itself by being able to stay up above that 200 period moving average. Now, if it drops below it, not totally at the end of the world, because you also have that purple line there, 50 period moving average. But in terms of, what would make the chart look the absolute strongest going forward, that would certainly be if the price can stay above that area right there. In terms of levels of resistance, next key battleground to watch. Nope, broke above there. So there we go. We'll come up to that one right there at the 176.15 mark. So 176.15, next key battleground, but overall, good solid day. Next one here, LCID, brutal day today. Another one of these EV stocks, and more so looking at this one from a bearish side of things, because what we have here is a sideways channel. That's true. Thing is, this sideways channel is starting to get violated at the downside. And when you factor in what happened beforehand, when I draw it down, what we have here is a bear flag pattern. Now, for you bullish people out there, maybe you like to play fake breakdowns. Maybe your strategy is based around the premise that, yeah, these patterns break down, but then all of a sudden they shoot back up. And okay, I've seen that before, so I can see where you're coming from. So if that is some sort of strategy that you're using, well, here you go. You have that situation because, the price is now, and you can hardly see it there, but the price is breaking down below that. I need to just do this. I need to stop trying to draw and just draw the actual trend lines in. Stop working harder and just start working a little bit smarter here. So actually I lied because I did not take the time to actually draw out the line there, but the price is still technically above that level right there. So, but that doesn't really change anything per se, because now instead of a fake breakdown, maybe you're just looking to play a complete bounce up to the upside. But there's going to be bears out there also wondering, well, I think this thing still fails to the downside, and they're going to be looking to play a trendline break to the downside. But the moral of the story here is if you like bear flag patterns, definitely keep an eye on it, especially bonus on top if you like stocks down below $10. Next one here, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ. So if you believe the NASDAQ market is going to rise, this one will also rise. So like the NASDAQ today, crazy day, started off very rough, but then had a very nice recovery. Both in the grand scheme of things, not a whole lot to update other than the fact that it did recover nicely. But as far as supports are concerned, this 35.10 mark, still the level of support. Now, to be fair, it was actually violated for a while. But in a display of strength, not only was the price able to get back up to that support, but it did get back up above it. But other than that, nothing has really changed, other than the fact that if there is some sort of bigger move, then you now see that, and I talked about this yesterday, how yes, that trend line is going to be very, very important, but you also have to be careful because not that far away from the trend line is that 200 period moving average. But now that another day has passed, that moving average has moved itself lower, and you can see both these areas of resistance are now very, very close to one another. So if there is some sort of big Friday surge, like I said, it's going to be a big challenge up here around the 36.50 mark. Doesn't mean the price can't push through it, but it's definitely going to take a whole lot of effort on the bulls' part. If the price is going to be able to push up through that 36.50 mark, there'd definitely have to be some very good news out there. But all in all, in my mind, that's the main dynamic. Still all about that resistance trend line right there and that 200 period moving average. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for that free class. It'll be this evening in a few hours, Thursday, October 5th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But as I said earlier, for whatever reason, if you can't make it live, then go ahead, send me an email, clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay. But again, all I ask is because it's live, it's first got to happen, then I got to get it uploaded, and then I can send you a link to that replay. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment, say hi, tell me what you traded today, tell me what you're watching tomorrow. But those two things help out the channel, they help out these videos, and they communicate to me that you're enjoying. So as long as I know you're enjoying, I'll continue to do these top 10 videos. So thanks for watching, take care, and go get signed up for that class, and hopefully I'll see you here in just a few hours.